As we enter a new year, I begin a new TLC World Series on God's promises. In the world, many seem to recognize that promises are seldom kept, as the common phrase promises, promises conveys. Therefore, they're often taken lightly. Nice if they are kept, but not such a big deal if they're not, because our expectations are low. However, I'm here to tell you that in complete contrast, God always keeps his promises. I'm making this bold claim because the Bible, which contains God's promises, is a totally authentic and reliable document, and my aim today is to prove it to you. All I ask is that you keep an open mind and then check out the evidence for yourself. First, let's consider the Bible as a history book. One of the main ways we can establish historical accuracy is through archaeology. Here are a few examples of what noted archaeologists have had to say on the subject. William F. Albright, one of the greatest of all archaeologists, stated, "Discovery after discovery has established the accuracy of innumerable details and has brought increased recognition to the value of the Bible as a source of history." Albright's findings were confirmed by Nelson Gluck, an archaeologist of similar status. He said, "It may be stated categorically that no archaeological discovery has ever controverted a biblical reference. Scores of archaeological findings have been made which confirm in clear outline or exact detail historical statements in the Bible." Another generally accepted approach to proving the accuracy of ancient documents, such as the Bible, is to look at how many documents exist that say the same thing, and how close in time to the events they describe they were written. A conservative estimate is that there are over 25,000 biblical manuscripts surviving from all across the ancient world. This compares to Homer's Iliad in second place with around 1,800 manuscripts. The point here is that if a manuscript from Egypt differs from one in Syria, for example, then we can question the Bible's accuracy. However, scholars confirm over 99% accuracy across all manuscripts in existence. In terms of closeness to the actual events being described, just taking the New Testament, experts confirm that the first manuscripts were written within 25 to 150 years of the events. This confirmation is not confined to Christian scholars alone. For example, James Crossley, a non-Christian New Testament academic, believes the book of Mark was written in the late 30s to early 40s AD, which is within 10 years of Jesus' death on the cross. Incidentally, this compares to Homer's Iliad that was written 950 years after the events described. In terms of evidence for the accuracy of the Bible we have today, no other ancient book comes close. The testimony of hostile witnesses is a further confirmation of the accuracy of the Bible. If those opposed to the Christian faith confirm what is contained in the Bible, the only logical conclusion is that the Bible is telling the truth. Examples of hostile witnesses include Thallus, a Greek historian who wrote about the crucifixion of Christ and stated that the day suddenly turned dark. Tacitus, a Roman historian, confirmed the death of Christ at the order of Pontius Pilate. Josephus, a Jewish historian, wrote about the death of Jesus, the martyrdom of James, the brother of Jesus, and of John the Baptist, and also mentioned that the resurrected Jesus was seen after his death on the cross. Also, Suetonius, another Roman historian, referred to the expulsion of Christians from Rome. These are just a selection of hostile witnesses who confirm the accounts recorded in the Bible. Finally, I want to mention the motives of the disciples, especially in the context of Christ's crucifixion and resurrection. This event is detailed by all four gospel writers, two of whom, Matthew and John, were actual disciples of Jesus. I'm coming from the same viewpoint as the Apostle Paul in this, who wrote in 1 Corinthians 15:17, "If Christ has not been raised, then your faith is useless." I'm reminded of a book by Jim Warner Wallace called Cold Case Christianity. Warner, who became a Christian through his focus upon evidence, was a Los Angeles cold case detective who won every case he took to court. He describes how to establish a reliable witness. It all comes down to what's in it for them. If witnesses have nothing that benefits them from giving a testimony, but they still maintain their testimony, they are likely to be reliable witnesses. Applying this test to the disciples indicates that they were reliable witnesses to the fact that Christ had risen. In fact, they had everything to lose and nothing to gain in a worldly sense from maintaining Christ's resurrection. Their ultimate fate evidenced this, as all but one died a martyr's death, proclaiming that Christ had risen. My point here is that if the Bible is reliable in terms of history, in terms of literary accuracy, is confirmed in many critical aspects by hostile witnesses, and its central event, the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ, was proclaimed as true by Christ's closest contemporaries who suffered for it, then we have sufficient evidence to trust that the other parts of the Bible are true too. And of course, that includes God's promises. It's also important to know that, to date, He has never reneged on a single one of His promises. Now, I trust you will bear all this in mind as we move through this series on God's promises. Happy New Year.